Have you ever heard tales of a gold rush, where fortunes were made overnight and lives were irrevocably changed? It's a story as old as time, filled with ambition and the promise of untold wealth. But what if the very people who fueled this frenzy were not free men, but convicts? Imagine a land where the shackles of the past could be broken by the glint of gold. This is the extraordinary narrative of Australia's gold rush, a period unlike any other in history. It's a story of unimaginable riches, yes, but also of something far more precious. It's a story of freedom, hard-won and fiercely pursued. A dramatic saga where the lowest members of society, prisoners and exiles, dared to dream of a new life. They sought not just gold, but redemption. Can you truly fathom a world where those condemned to a life of servitude could transform into millionaires? Where the very foundations of a nation were built on the desperate hope of its most downtrodden? This is that story. Intrigued? The year was 1851, and a fever unlike any other began to grip the nascent Australian colonies. Gold had been discovered, and the news spread like wildfire across the vast continent and beyond. Whispers of instant fortunes and new beginnings filled the air. But Australia at this time was no ordinary land of opportunity. It was, first and foremost, a penal colony, a distant outpost for the British Empire's unwanted, a land of exiles, where the vast majority of its European inhabitants were convicts. These men and women had been sent halfway across the world for crimes often as minor as stealing a loaf of bread. Their lives were defined by hard labor, brutal discipline, and the crushing weight of their past. Conditions were harsh, hope was scarce. Then, everything changed. The discovery of gold near Bathurst in New South Wales ignited a spark that would forever alter the nation's destiny. It was a moment of profound transformation, a seismic shift in the colonial landscape. The rush began almost immediately. Thousands upon thousands, from all walks of life, flocked to the goldfields. A new kind of hope, raw and powerful, ignited in the hearts of many, even those who had long been denied it: the prisoners. For these convicts, the gold rush presented more than just wealth. It offered an unprecedented opportunity. It was a chance at redemption, a pathway to escape the stigma and servitude that had defined their existence. They saw a glimmer of a different future. Many, still serving their sentences or recently freed, made a desperate gamble. They risked everything, defying authorities and abandoning their assigned labor. The lure of the goldfields was simply too strong to resist, the potential rewards too great. Freedom was the ultimate prize, a concept that had been systematically stripped from them. The goldfields represented a lawless frontier, where their past might not matter as much as their present determination. It was a dangerous, exhilarating prospect. They sought gold with an intensity born of desperation, but their true quest was for a new life, a life free from the shadow of the gallows, free from the lash, free from the constant surveillance. They yearned for a fresh start, a clean slate. And against all odds, some succeeded spectacularly. They struck it rich, unearthing fortunes that dwarfed anything they could have ever imagined. Their rags to riches stories became the stuff of legend, whispered around campfires and across continents. These were not just men who found gold, they were men who found themselves. From the depths of penal servitude, they rose to become millionaires, their names etched into the annals of Australian history. Their transformation was astonishing, but the path to riches was far from easy. The goldfields were a chaotic, lawless frontier, a melting pot of ambition and desperation. There was no established order, no easy justice, only the raw struggle for survival and wealth. Violence was a common currency, disputes often settled with fists or worse. Disease spread rapidly through the crowded, unsanitary camps, claiming lives indiscriminately. The environment was brutal, unforgiving, and constantly challenging. Yet, despite the immense dangers and hardships, the allure of gold remained too strong to ignore. The promise of a better life, of true freedom, drove these former prisoners forward, pushing them beyond their limits. They would not be deterred. So how did these former prisoners, often starting with nothing but their wits and a pickaxe, managed to succeed where many others failed? What were the secrets behind their remarkable transformation from condemned men to wealthy entrepreneurs? Many brought with them invaluable skills acquired during their forced labor or from their previous lives. Blacksmiths, Carpenters, stonemasons, and even those with a knack for organization found their talents suddenly in high demand on the chaotic goldfields. Others possessed a cunning born of necessity, a street smarts honed by years of survival in harsh conditions. They knew how to read the land, how to spot promising veins, and how to navigate the treacherous social landscape of the diggings. They were survivors. Remarkably, some of these newly wealthy ex-convicts even employed other convicts, or recently freed ticket-of-leave men. It was a strange twist of fate, a reversal of roles that spoke volumes about the fluid nature of society on the goldfields. The gold rush was more than just an economic boom. It was a social revolution. It fundamentally changed Australia, transforming it from a penal outpost into a vibrant, self-governing nation. The influx of people and wealth reshaped its very identity. But what truly happened to these convict millionaires once the dust settled and the gold fever subsided? Did they find the true freedom they so desperately sought? Or did their past continue to haunt them, even amidst their newfound wealth? The stories of these convict millionaires are as varied as the nuggets they unearthed. Some vanished into obscurity, their fortunes squandered, or their identities shed for a fresh start in distant lands. They sought to erase their past entirely. Others faced their demons head-on, using their wealth to build legitimate businesses, establish families, and contribute to the burgeoning society. They sought to prove their worth, to earn the respect that had long been denied to them. The Australian gold rush was a wild, unpredictable ride, a crucible that forged a nation and redefined the meaning of opportunity. It was a period of immense risk, profound transformation, and ultimately, for some, incredible redemption. It reminds us that even in the darkest corners of society, the human spirit can find a way to shine. What other secrets, what other untold stories of courage and transformation will we uncover next time? The past always holds more surprises. And if you're hooked on these gold rush stories, subscribe now, because next video, we're exploring the darkest gold rush of all, the Congo, where gold didn't bring freedom. It brought slavery, death, and the worst atrocities in human history. The truth will haunt you. See you in the next video.